What up? This is Josh from Legendary Life. I'm coming at you from Scottsdale Quarter here in North Scottsdale, Arizona. This is actually my home turf. It's my hood, and I thought I'd film my first vlog here. But what I want to talk to you about today is the importance of self-generating positive emotions from within yourself. The ability to hypnotize yourself into feeling good no matter what your external situation might be. Now, why is this important? I'm gonna explain a couple things to you because this can actually be pretty goddamn practical. You might be thinking, self-generating positive emotions, feeling good from within yourself, isn't that usually something a little bit more in the realm of religion or spirituality or something like that? How is that practical to my life? Well, a couple reasons. I'll give you two right off the bat. First one is socialization, okay? If you're talking to people and they can sense that you're coming from a bad emotional place, maybe you're coming from a needy energy, you're hoping to suck good emotions out of the interaction to harvest for yourself, they're gonna feel a little off-put. That's what we colloquially know as being creepy. You're coming across with an agenda. If you're able to feel good from within yourself, you can authentically communicate to people without an agenda. You can communicate to that potential significant other without that feeling of needing something, and it makes them actually attracted to you. You can speak with that business contact and result in them actually being naturally attracted to the possibility of partnering or becoming a client. It will help you close more deals that way when you can come to those social interactions from a place of true, authentic happiness from within yourself, and you'll become more magnetic as a result. Number two, procrastination. That's another huge one. Why do we procrastinate? I'm sure there's things that you're procrastinating right now. You're probably procrastinating maybe going to the gym, performing some school assignment. Maybe it's some work project that you have due soon that you know you need to do. You need to finish up that spreadsheet. You need to finish up that report. You need to make those calls. It can be really anything. But the reason we procrastinate is because usually, in fact, not usually, all the time, it's a stress response. You're associating whatever task that you know you need to do with stress. You think of that task, you feel stressed out, and we naturally, as humans, want to avoid that feeling of stress in our body, so as a result, we avoid doing the task. Until maybe it comes up last second, and now the urgency of performing the task outweighs even the stress, which is usually what ends up happening. But we can override that entire process if you are able to self-generate positive emotions. Why is that? Because you can override that feeling of stress with the natural happiness that you feel, and you'll just feel good the entire time doing the task and not doing the task, right? There's a truck driving by. Hopefully that isn't distracting me. Now I'm procrastinating, telling you what I need to tell you. Live example. So here's how you can actually accomplish this, okay? I'm gonna give you 3 easy steps to begin the journey of self-generating those positive emotions for all those awesome reasons. Okay, number 1. Step 1 is cultivate an awareness of the way that you feel in general. You'd be so surprised. So many people don't actually know how they feel from moment to moment. There are so many situations where you might think that you're in a good mood, but then you do an internal inventory check of your emotional state and you realize I'm actually kind of feeling pretty bad in my body. And vice versa. Sometimes you can feel like you're in a bad mood, maybe you're feeling kind of grumpy, but then you really take an internal check of yourself, see how you feel, and you realize, wait, I actually have so much to be grateful for. There's so much positive stuff going on. I actually feel great. I'm just having a momentary lapse of a bad mood, but we let that idea of whatever emotional state we're in at the moment dictate the story we tell ourselves about how we feel. And that results in this general unawareness of how you feel. And if you want to improve your general emotional state, you have to know how you're feeling to begin with. So number 1, just get good at stopping and being mindful of how you're feeling right now. We can do it live here. I mean, I'm looking in myself. I feel generally pretty okay, a little jittery. This is the first time I'm filming a vlog. I'm doing it totally off the cuff with no script. So part of me is sort of worried for coming up with the right things to say, but another part of me feels pretty unstifled and unworried, so I'm actually feeling pretty good and loose. A little bit of a backache from the deadlifts I was doing today, but I'm pretty much at I would say a 7 out of 10 right now, okay? And some people are, in that 1 to 3 zone for a lot of their life, which, we've all been there. Hopefully that's something that more and more people can awaken out of. Some people are in the 4 to 6 or maybe 4 to 7 range, which is kind of mid-tier. I think people should strive to be higher throughout their life. I think that's really one of the goals of having a high quality and legendary life. But that is also normal, and that's something that is a great place to improve upon. And then maybe you're in the 7 to 10 range, maybe you're doing pretty well, right? And you don't even need this video, but I'm gonna share it with you anyway. But just get a good idea of where on that 1 to 10 range you might fall. Step 2 is become an observer of your own emotional state. This is actually a very common concept within mindfulness or meditation practices, but what you should really try to become adept at is becoming aware of how you feel deep down, and then becoming an observer of it and having a healthy detachment. Not trying to escape those feelings, not trying to avoid those feelings, just observing them somewhat from a distance from within yourself. Because if you're able to observe the way that you think and feel, that means that you inherently are not stuck in the middle of the way that you think and feel. You can have a healthy distance from it, from which to take action and from which to slowly and gradually change how you feel and take on a new perspective. So get really good at just stopping and observing the way that you feel. And then step number 3, this will come naturally when you do step 1 and 2, hopefully, but this will help you to realize that happiness is actually the default. Happiness is the default. I know it might sound crazy, especially if you've lived a life where it doesn't feel like it's been the default for a long time, but that's most likely because of certain narratives that you've been telling yourself if you're a normal person, right? Some people have genuine mental conditions that affect the way that they feel. I don't want to belittle that, but I do also want to stress that a lot of times the reason why you might be feeling chronic negative emotion, occasional negative emotion is also definitely okay. There's appropriate circumstances for that, but if you're feeling those negative emotions chronically, that's likely because of these stories and narratives that you might have been telling yourself for years even, potentially, that result in some just really difficult day-to-day life situations. But if you're able to do those first 2 steps, where you're able to do a normal inventory of the way that you feel, and you're also able to become an observer and have a healthy detachment of how you feel, if you stick with it long enough, you don't have to believe me, just take it as a thought experiment and try it. Just maybe 10 to 20 minutes a day, just as an experimental practice. Sit down, be aware of how you feel, observe how you feel, just sit with it and realize that, some positive emotions start to come up, because happiness is how humans are supposed to feel by default. It's the natural response to relaxation in your mind and in your body. If you can become the observer, if you can realize that a lot of those things that you worry about are really mental constructs, that can give you a sense of peace, and that can also give you a sense of relaxation, which will naturally result in more positive emotions coming up. And then, guess what? Those positive emotions come up, you're able to nail those tasks that you're trying to do that you're procrastinating on, you're able to go into social interactions with a sense of confidence that comes from that internal happiness. You don't need things to happen. You don't have this scarcity mentality of things needing to happen, and you're just flowing with it. You're happy, you can take it or leave it, and you're able to share those positive emotions from an overflowing, abundant state with other people, and that's what I'm hoping I can inspire you to do today. So hopefully this helped you. Hopefully this is something that you can take with you. This has been Josh from Legendary Life. Take care and see you next time.